Hey guys, it's Brian again with another ceiling fan video. And on this week's edition of I Love Gold, we have a SMC M52 ceiling fan. This is from the late 70s, early 80s, and it is 24 karat gold plated. Very heavy cast iron spinner motor. Obviously it's been plated. Has a metal canopy, upper and lower. And this fan actually came out of my childhood bowling alley. And what I mean by that is it is the bowling alley that I had been going to ever since I was a kid. It's the first time I ever bowled was at this alley. And there's a whole long story about how I wound up getting these fans. I'm going to try to abbreviate that story in particular. But the short of it is that I found out that it was closing because it was in the same shopping plaza as the barbershop that I go to get my hair cut. So I talked to the owner of the barbershop, and he told me to contact the owner of the bowling alley, gave me his contact info. So I got in touch with him, and he told me that he closed down the alley and that he was liquidating the place. So I told him the story about how I learned how to bowl here and that I'm a fan collector. And he said, yeah, come and get the fans. So long story short, me and a fellow fan collector went and took all three of the fans down there over the lanes. And I will have videos of the other two up here shortly. But this one just happened to be my favorite one. Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out on this fan that some of you may have already noticed if you know SMC fans. First of all, the most obvious thing is that it has brown Laguna blades on it. Now, keep in mind that this is the way this fan has been my entire life. So I really don't know the story behind what happened to the original blades, but I could make a guess. The second thing I want to point out to you is, well, obviously, you know, the canopy's lowered because it's missing the canopy screw, because I used it to secure the down rod when I put the cotter pin and stuff through it, because I noticed that that was missing. Not really the end of the world. The third thing, and this is the most interesting thing about this fan, besides blades, it has a hole in the canopy. Now, I believe that that was made by the electrician who installed this fan originally when it was installed, because there used to be a solid state speed control, one of those cardboard box things up in the canopy, which is what they used to control the speeds. I always wondered how they got the fans to spin slower, at least this one in particular, because the other two fans had pull chains. So that pretty much answered that question, and I'll show you. This is the cardboard box control that was installed in the canopy. So, rated for 3 amps too. That's kind of cool. It's either 3 or 5 amps. It's 3 amps, sorry. So yeah, kind of cool. Decided to keep that one for later. But yeah, so that's how they controlled the fan. I never knew that. And I never noticed that hole in the canopy. So anyway, I got this hooked up to my solid state control box here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to turn it all the way down to slow. Now, I think it's going to stall out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stop one of the blades here and see. Yeah, it's not going to run on this particular speed. Let's go ahead and turn it up a little bit. Okay. So there's where it catches. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Let me see if I can turn it down a little bit more. No, see, it'll stop. Turn it up. Turn it down a little more. Okay. I think this is the lowest that I'm going to be able to get this to go on this particular control. I'll need to adjust the low speed trim pot on that control if I wanted to go any slower. You'll notice that it's making a bit of a scraping noise. I'm not entirely sure what that is. It may be the bearings going out. Keep in mind this thing was installed in the same spot for 50 years. So I'll have to take the motor apart and take a look at the bearings, but this is the slowest I can get it to go on my solid state control box. But it's a pretty nice low speed. And it's really not that noisy on a solid state box. Go ahead and turn it up a little bit. Definitely not bedroom quiet, but I'd say probably living room quiet. It does have a bit of a wobble to it. Now, the last time I saw this fan running at the bowling alley, this is the speed that it was on. And I pulled about 40 years of balloon strings out from underneath the lower canopy, wrapped around the shaft. I thought that's what was causing the scraping noise, but I think it's the bearings. Still runs good though. Turn it up a little more. I also remember it running on this speed a few times. It's definitely moving some air. Yeah, real sad story about that bowling alley. If you want to know more, drop a comment down below or message me on Facebook. But I was able to tour the bowling alley while it was closed down and people were taking things out, and really got some great pictures and talked to the owner and really got a great story about his history with the bowling alley. And he was really sad to see the place go. And so was I, for that matter. Okay, now we're gonna turn it up a little more. But yeah, I've been trying to get these fans for about 30 years. Pretty much my whole life. Really cranking out air on this speed, and that's not even all the way up on the control. This is definitely a very, very powerful fan. Let's go ahead and turn it all the way up. And this thing absolutely flies on high speed. Wow. She still shines pretty well too. Oh yeah. This thing is a freaking powerhouse. What a fan. And we'll spin down. Now I did test this on my 3-speed Lutron control box. It's basically just a 3-speed rotary knob control built the exact same way as this. And it actually has a really nice low speed on that particular control. So I'm thinking that this fan would be good with a 3-speed and probably would work on a 4-speed too. But this fan originally, I don't exactly know what the control would look like that it came with in the box. I don't know if it's like one of those plastic choke controls or what, but anyway, we know that these things work really well with solid state. They're probably not the quietest, but it seems to work pretty well, other than those bearings. But yeah, I'm really happy to have this fan. This has been probably one of the greatest scores I've ever had, because I've been watching these fans since I was a little kid, and this one is one that I've been after for 30 years, and I finally got the opportunity to tour my childhood bowling alley after it closed, make some memories, relive some old ones, and get my childhood bowling alley fans. So I'll be testing the other two here as soon as I take this one down. But this was the most important one. So I'm glad that I could share it with all you guys. So anyway, there you have it. That is the 52-inch SMC M52 ceiling fan. Hope you guys enjoyed. Keep watching. More videos to come.